one of the Manchester synagogue attack heroes, Yoni Finlay, who was several worshippers who barricaded the doors of the Heaton Park mosque. So I keep saying, why do I do that? Heaton Park synagogue. Sorry, I've done that. So I do apologise. In Manchester on that day in October, that he was accidentally shot by the police when they shot the attacker. But he's now talking about moving to Israel because he no longer feels safe in the UK. I mean, that is such an incredibly awful indictment against our country, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. I mean, look, in a sense, you can't blame him. I mean, he's just been, he faced death he stared death in the face. He survived, but, that kind of experience makes you think, doesn't it? What am I doing? Can I continue living in a country where people want to kill me on the basis of my religion? It's like this is an appalling indictment on the contemporary UK that this ever happened in the first place. But the warning signs were there for years, Julia. We knew about the radicalisation. We knew about the hatred that was spewing out. We knew this was likely to happen at some point, and unfortunately it did happen to him. And he's, considering it. The challenge for all of the rest of us is to make sure, firstly, it doesn't happen to anyone else, and secondly, we reverse the tide. So it's the Islamist extremists who are driven out this country, not the other way around.
Yeah, indeed. And when people go on marches, through London everywhere, and they're endorsed by mainstream politicians about globalise the intifada and from the river to the sea, that's what it means. It means killing people in mosques. Globalise intifada. Mosques, I've done it again. Apologies, synagogue.
You've got mosques on the brain, I'm afraid.
I know, exactly. But it's literally what it means, killing Jews. That's what it means.
Well, globalise the intifada, of course it does. What does that mean? The intifada is, the killing of Jews in Israel. Hence, if you globalise it, it means the killing of Jews anywhere. Those slogans actually have a real purpose, and it's quite obvious that if you see people week in, week out on the street shouting such hateful things, some people are going to go, I'll take it to the next step. I'm going to take the literal interpretation of that slogan and I'm going to put it into practice.
And they do it, indeed. Well, let's also just talk about the extraordinary. This is still ongoing. This is still such an issue from early November. And this is the West Midlands Police decision to basically ban Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans from an Aston Villa match in Birmingham. And the argument was, well, there'd been all this trouble in Amsterdam, and there was, the Tel Aviv fans were part of the problem, and therefore they should be banned. As it was, there was basically the club themselves decided not to take the allocation of tickets, which meant that to a certain extent that problem the PR of it kind of went away. But then it has emerged that they relied on a document which the West Midlands Police provided, basically saying, basically there was all this violence. It was caused by these Maccabi Tel Aviv fans in Amsterdam. The Amsterdam police have said, no such document exists. We didn't tell you that. That wasn't what happened. There was a literal, quote, Jew hunt by extremist Islamists in Amsterdam that had led to attacks on the fans from Tel Aviv, and that wasn't the case. MPs are going to be questioning, I think today in Parliament, the head of the West Midlands Police and others, others who made this decision. But what do you make of, as far as we can tell, a completely made-up, spurious excuse being given for banning fans from another country from attending a football match here?
Well, it seems absolutely extraordinary. The police used to be one of the most trusted institutions in this country, and now we're getting stories like this, on top of all the other nonsense we've had over the last few years, where it appears that they have fabricated evidence to come up to a conclusion that suits, certain local troublemakers' agendas. I've never seen anything like it, where the police have been co-opted in this way. And it really bodes badly for British institutions, for the sense that the police will present themselves in a fair way. And it's quite right that MPs are questioning them. It's quite right that they will need to be asked what this was all about and how their statement is so at odds with what the Amsterdam police are saying. Yeah. Clearly, something's gone awry here, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
And again, the Israeli embassy is saying clearly, this decision to ban those football fans was anti-Semitic. End of.
Well, it looks like that from this point of view. And you'll note, of course, that last week there was a football match where, guess what? There was violence from the opponents at Villa Park, and it turned out those opponents were not Israelis, but they were Swiss.
Yeah, and again, but no ban on them, even though there'd been trouble before from those fans. It is extraordinary. Dr. Alan Mendoza, so appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much indeed.